Hello, welcome back to the Hawk T1 in Microsoft Flight Sim at a fairly rainy RAF Valley. That's Echo Golf Oscar Victor. I'm going to take this aircraft and you'll notice that it has bomb stores, carrier bomb light stores, I seem to remember, CBLS. So we're going to take that and attack a target. We're going to do a TOT and see if we can get within 5 seconds. It'll be a two-part video. One is getting there and bombing the target, and the second is getting back via Mona and here, so stick around if you're interested in the RTB. So we're ready lined up at runway 13. Other differences flying the Hawk T1 with stores is that my trim is set to 1 degree nose up. For the takeoff, I'm going mass to live. And also the rotate will be standard at 90 knots, but the liftoff will be 130, so slightly faster than we're used to. Let's have a look at our first heading, which will be 140. The wind is slightly from the right, so that could be 141. As a heading to maintain a 140 track. We'll do 360 knots at 2,500 feet, which will work for us, and our time for the first turn point is 2 minutes 15. So with clearance to take off, let's get going. Okay, the engine is stabilizing, the brakes are holding, we're clear ahead. In 3, 2, 1, hack. Clock is running. Oh, bit of rudder to stay straight. 90 knots rotate. Keep it stable. 130 knots. Takeoff, climbing, gear, flap up. Gear and flapper up. Here's the view in the back cockpit. What we'll do is we'll climb straight ahead, runway heading to about 800 feet, past this village on the right, and then we'll take a right for our 141 heading. Let's lower the nose to about 6 degrees nose up to allow us to accelerate. And here we go, right turn. Some beautiful views over the Isle of Anglesey. Not a lot of people know it's an island. It is actually separated from the mainland by the Menai Straits, which we're going to fly down shortly. So I'm going to try where I can to hand fly this as accurately as possible. I can see, if you can see around the front cockpit, you can see that the forest that we're turning at is coming up in the 12 o'clock. So our next turn should be at 2 minutes 15. Here in the front cockpit, we can double check that our fuel is ticking down nicely, so 1200 kilos, that makes sense. The visibility is okay. The oxygen is full, we're winking and blinking, you can check your connections in the back. Pressure is not required, we're below 10,000, engine is working fine and nearest. Well, we've got Mona off to the back left and Valley behind us. And we've got 15 seconds till our turn, so we had planned to turn at that forest there, but we're slightly early, so we'll wait till 2 minutes 15, clear to the left, and we'll turn. Now I'm doing the camera work and flying and navigating all at the same time, so I might lose a little bit of accuracy, so bear with me. There we go, so we turned on time, we're on track. I didn't check my next heading because I know it's the Menai Straits, which is down here. This heading should be 060, which checks. The TACAN is working fine because I can see the green needle is pointing to Valley. And as the tail end of the green needle of the HSI gets towards 079, the course deviation bar will centralize and I'll know I'll be at my low-level entry point. Down here now, I have some Orbx scenery installed, so we have things like the A5 pass down the Menai Straits all modelled. And we'll take a look at that. I have got crash enabled as well, so I'm not going to do anything too crazy, but let's fly down towards those bridges. Thinking ahead there, my next event is going to be my low-level entry point at 6 minutes and 15 seconds. We're going to rehack the clock at the low-level entry. We'll see how close to 6 minutes and 15 we can get. Right, that's enough of that. Okay, I can just see, and you can just see over my right shoulder, Great Orme's Head on the north coast of Wales. That's going to be our entry point. From there, we're going to be heading south, heading of 172. Because the wind's from the south as well, we'll keep that as our track 172. Our speed will be 425 knots because we'll have 5 knots of headwind as we head south. And that is our pre-hat for the first waypoint. We'll reset our clock as we get closer. Now the clock in the rear cockpit isn't running, so I'll manage that from the front, and you can sit and enjoy the view. Flying a bit fast here. Pre-descent checks we should always do. So fuel is now 1150. Instruments we can check erect. Radios we'll say goodbye to Valley Approach and talk to low level common. Altimeters set for the lowest. Conditioning or demist is set, we'll just keep it as normal. And safety altitude, we're not really playing safety altitude, but around about, I can't remember what it is for the Snowdonia region. We'll say it's like 5,500 feet, that'll work. Back in the front seat here, that's 5 minutes and 15. Ordinarily I'd set my track bar to 172. In actual fact, look at my HSI. You can see that my course bar has centralized. In fact, it's gone the other way because I'm now north of my low level entry point. So that's a useful way of navigating to your entry point. The weather looks a bit fruity, so we'll see how we deal with that. Hopefully we'll take in all the sights and sounds of the route itself, because we've got some nice lakes to look at on the way. 30 seconds till our entry point timing. And I think we have everything in good order. In fact, last thing is the low level check. So visor down, lights are all on, altimeters we talked about, radios we've talked about, squawk. It's 7001. And time of entry for our low level booking we can note as we enter. Now I've got 12 seconds till our entry point timing. I'll just accelerate slowly up to our speed. I'm going to reset the clock. 3, 2, 1, hack, clock runs. Now I was within 5 seconds of my entry point timing, so we're happy with that. And now the clock's running. Track 172, I'm going to follow this valley down to Betsy Coed. And then at the bottom of this valley, it'll be a left-hand turn 090. There's a few pylons down here we need to be aware of, but the biggest concern for me is the weather. Now I can see through it at the moment, and if we need to, we can turn east early and just parallel our eastern track just slightly north of track, and that shouldn't give us too many issues in terms of our timing. Our final target timing I think is 11 minutes and 30 seconds. That's what we're working to. We'll try our best. So next timing is going to be 2 minutes and 15 at the bottom end of this valley. So I think we're taking in 5 lakes, maybe even 6. The first one's going to be Crocodile, the second one's going to be Playboy, and the third one's going to be Bala. And then for the way back, we'll be looking at, I think it's Vernwy. I'm just coming east of this town because I don't want to overfly it, because that tends to annoy people. Where was I? Lakes, that's right. And on the way back, it's Vernwy, crossing Bala again, up to Pork Chop. And then we're going to Poison Lake, and then we'll recover. So, yeah, 6, I think. Now, let's get back in the front seat and check the timing. We're coming up on 2 minutes. Do another 15 seconds. Our next heading is 090. 091 for a little bit of wind correction. 420 knots at the moment, but we'll see what our timing is like here. There's 2 minutes 15. Navigation turn is full power 4G. There we go, so timing is good. Lovely rainbows. Heading is good. Weather ahead is good. 420 knots is what I'm aiming for. Next event is going to be 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Busy on the roads today. And the next turning will be to the south. The weather's looking okay. This is what the view is like if you're a bomb. Now these are 3 kilo practice bombs. There's 4 in each carrier. Usually 1 carrier per wing. And ahead you can see the first lake. There's the rear cockpit. This lake is Crocodile Lake. Very soon after will be Playboy Lake, and I'll turn to the right. So at 3 minutes 40, we need next heading 194. Back in the front seat, there's our turn point. Here is Playboy Lake. Clear to the right, 3 minutes 40, here we go. Okay, checking the dead wing. Now the dead wing is the downgoing wing after the turn because you haven't been looking in that direction whilst you've been turning, so it's always good technique to clear the area you haven't been clearing. So 194, clear ahead, I can see the horizon, so the weather is good enough. Turning was on time, so 194, 425 knots really should be the speed I'm after. And next event is going to be at 5 minutes 20, Lake Bala. Now my speed is wandering a little bit. What I should aim for is about 95% RPM, 96% RPM. We'll keep the speed roughly 420 knots. I think I caught a glimpse of the lake off to our right, so we'll see. Timing should be 5 minutes and 20 seconds for that. Okay, there's the lake off to the right. And the weather looks okay, but hazy. So it should be 5 minutes and 20 down here. Let's see what we get. There's Bala. And we're about 3 seconds early. So I'm going to fly 400 to 410 knots until my next turn point. Now again, I didn't pre-check my heading because I know I'm flying down Bala, but the heading should be 218. Which confirms this valley is the correct one. Next event will be at 7 minutes and 30. That'll be entry to the Mach Loop. Now we're not flying the whole of the Mach Loop, just about a third of it, so that we can get to our pre-IP to the south end. More on that in a second. We can do another ops check. So fuel is good. We're here at 1,000. That's sufficient for the route. Oxygen is full, still winking and blinking. When I say winking and blinking, I mean the magnetic indicator to the top right, just next to the standby altimeter, shows you every time you breathe. And therefore, that you've got a good flow. Cabin pressure is not required. Engine is working fine. Nearest is still Valley to the northwest. So as the valley opens up here, I'm going to head more specifically on my track of 218, 217 with the wind from the south. And I'm looking for 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Now it gets very busy from this point on, because I've got to follow the valleys of the Mach Loop and work out the timing, and then I need to do my pre-attack checks. It all gets very, very busy. So the V shape of the entrance to the Mach Loop is at the 12 o'clock. CAD east and west either side, where the photographers sit. And the weather looks good. So back in the front seat we have 15 seconds to run. We want 7 minutes and 30 at the entrance to the Mach Loop. And then I'm flowing the Mach Loop down to Chorus, then taking a heading of 176. And we'll see how that works out. So we are 2 seconds early. I like that. That's fine because now I can scuppery now through the valleys and lose a little bit of time. 420 knots. We'll take this left-hand turn. Here's the rear cockpit view for the Mach Loop. A little bit of rain on the canopy. Clean it off a little bit. Beautiful scenes around here with a bit of sun in between the rain clouds. I love it. So here we go, passing through Corris. We'll take a right turn. Once we go over this spur of land, we'll go 176 to our next turn points. So there's the spur of land. Pop over here, 176. Our next turn point is going to be 8 minutes and 50 seconds. And then a turn onto 088. Our turn point is on a facing slope, forest, and there's a pond on top of it, which is a late spot, but an obvious feature. This is McCuntlith, which is the reason why the Mach Loop is called the Mach Loop. We are clear to the left, the weather to the left is good. There's my pond just behind there, and 50 seconds turning. Here's where we get busy. So 088, 089 because the wind is from the south, 420 knots. We're looking for a V shape in the ridgeline ahead, which is slightly left of us. That works out. Next timing is going to be 10 minutes and 20 is going to be our IP, the first portion before we get to our target. At this point, I'm going to keep the masts live. I'm going to select port and starboard pylons. We've got B selected on the head-up display. And I'm going to make my stick top live now because I have to do it with the mouse, and it's pretty tricky when you're flying and trying to click with the mouse on the stick top. Now my weapons are armed. That's unusual. Normally you'd wait until you're IP to do that, but I've done it here. Right, here comes a valley that we cross. Good habit patterns is to look left and right as you cross them because you don't know if there's another hawk or something else coming up the valley. Amazing scenery around here. So we have 25 seconds till our IP. Our IP is going to be a forest corner on a slope from left to right. Oh, look at the rain. I hope it's not over the target. That'd be disappointing. But we're going to press on in regardless. Here we go. The IP is just left of the nose. Normally I'd come off track to line up, but next heading is going to be 042. Got 5 seconds. I'm going to take my 042 heading. About there, and hack. We're 1 second late. 425 knots will work. 042. Target at 11 minutes 30. We have mass live, stick top live, pylon selected. Here we go. We're all settled down. Just about. We're looking to follow the high ground just to the right, so we'll hug that. We'll come across a town that'll be just slightly left of the nose. Oh, the sun's come out for the bombing run. I love it. So there's the village just off to the left, 11 o'clock. So that's a good confidence feature. There'll be a river that comes past the village and snakes around to the south. And a forest on the south side. So here we go. This is good confidence. I'm tally target at the 12 o'clock. Let's get altitude, speed. TOT is to overflight of the target. Bombs away. Overflight 1 second early.